The Vienna Lions Club held a meet and greet at the Vienna Community building earlier this evening. A meet and greet was held for the community to come and meet the candidates in the Vienna mayor and council race. This was an opportunity to ask the candidates questions and get to know the people you'll be voting for on November 5th. Snacks and refreshments were provided as well.
A lot of times what happens is, the candidates don't have a time to just be themselves, answer the individual questions, and that's, the residents deserve that, and that's why we did it. You have to think in the best interest of your community.
More about the Vienna Lions Club can be found on our website at WTAP.com. Wood County Schools officials say there have been 4 incidents in the past 2 weeks of drivers passing stopped school buses. Wood County Schools Transportation Director Chad Blos says drivers failing to stop when they see a stopped school bus with flashing lights is a serious problem. Blos says there are many stops in the county where students have to cross to the other side of the road after getting off the bus, leaving them vulnerable if a driver speeds past. In addition to threatening the safety of students, drivers who pass a stopped school bus will face fines and other penalties. Blos says their school buses are equipped with measures that make those repercussions for drivers more likely.
Each bus is equipped with a camera system that has a camera that shoots out the rear of the bus to catch the license plate on the vehicle. The driver will hit an event marker, and we will bring the bus in and we'll look at that footage. If we get a good view of the license plate, the driver will actually go down to the magistrate court and file a written complaint with that video so we can help catch the driver that passed the bus.
Blos says all 4 recent incidents were clearly recorded on camera and reported. First-time offenders face a fine of up to $1,000 and up to 6 months in jail and a 60-day license suspension. Penalties increase for multiple offenses. If a driver passing a school bus injures a pedestrian, they could face felony charges. New tonight at 10, a lawsuit is being launched against the Fairmont State University Board of Governors and several other state entities over alleged asbestos exposure. Our sister station, WDTV's John Blaschke, has the details.
A lawsuit is being filed on behalf of a lung cancer patient who got a rare asbestos-related cancer. The lawsuit claims Donna Sperling was knowingly exposed to asbestos during her time at Fairmont State University between 1998 and 2004. The lawsuit further claims the school's Board of Governors knowingly withheld information about the school's asbestos problem. The lawsuit claims FSU was one of hundreds of state institutions that were tested for asbestos in the 1980s. Attorney Michael Robb says the state sued and won against asbestos manufacturers, but the $20 million won in the lawsuit and the subsequent $20 million